In the immensity of the ocean, out on these rocky outcrops, the Marquesas Islands are a landmark for the marine life of the Pacific Ocean. Having hunted all night, an enigmatic black dolphin comes to these turbulent waters. Pepanocephala is its scientific name. Translated, melon-head, a nickname for this little-known dolphin. These cliffs of Nukuhiva, jutting out into the Pacific, are tormented by the trade winds. Amidst these toiling waters, a curious spectacle unfolds. As regular as clockwork, melon-heads leave their vast hunting territory. With full stomachs, they can cover tens of kilometers. Their conical heads cleave the water easily. Groups are formed through affinity. These traveling partners know their destination, always the same, every day at the same time. Before long, tens become hundreds. Their destination? Topatuo, a tiny rocky outcrop several kilometers off the coast. Why here? Nobody knows. And the point of this gathering is to sleep in the sun. The melon-headed dolphin only rests at the surface in the company of hundreds of others. The sun delivers warmth, but also strong ultraviolet radiation. So, like all dolphins living in clear water, they are heavily pigmented. Long periods without breathing are punctuated by deep breaths which keep the melon-head's lungs inflated to enable them to stay afloat. Our ear cannot determine who is who and who does what. However, melon-head's natural skin markings allow us to identify them. Such is the case for Thug and Scar. Thug has a white mark on its forehead. Scar has a gash on its right side. The two are inseparable, and every morning they play together. This enormous gash in Scar's flank shows the dangerous encounters that dolphins often come across. Amongst them, tiger sharks. The pair immediately react, forming a shield which quickly deters the young shark. To test the group's efficiency, our cameraman takes over from the shark. The dolphins immediately reorganize their defense. Their whistles summon reinforcements. A barrier is formed to protect the nursery areas where the calves can swim safely. Safety is guaranteed by numbers for melonheads, whether at rest or in danger. The isolated dolphin from the Hebrides can therefore neither sleep safely nor defend itself appropriately enough. Has it been carried away by a current? To answer this question, let's follow the Gulf Stream. This warm current, born in the Bahamas, ends its course at the coast of Scotland. At its source live pods of spotted dolphins in a kingdom of white sand and turquoise waters. Gulf Stream dolphins also absorb much solar radiation, and because of that, acquire skin marks as they age. Their groups are disorganized, even bordering on anarchy at times. Only the mother-calf family structure endures. Equality of the sexes is the rule. Neither harem, nor single partner, nor dominant dolphin exists. Their favorite pastime revolving around forming and dismantling groups by chance meetings. The Gulf Stream dolphins tacitly share their territory with the bottlenose dolphins. Organized as a matrilineal society, they are found in all oceans of the world, except the polar regions. Razorfish, which inhabit the Bahamian sandbanks, have come to understand the bottlenose dolphin as ruthless killers. To locate its prey, the dolphin uses echolocation, a sonar system of astonishing efficiency. Its nasal sacs emit ultrasonic clicks, which are amplified by clusters of fat below its forehead. When these sound waves hit an obstacle, they are reflected back to the brain as echoes to be analyzed. Once a razorfish has been detected, the dolphin increases the frequency of clicks to gain a more accurate understanding of its surroundings. Using sound, it identifies its prey with its ears. Different predator, different weaponry. Nurse sharks possess a nasal gland known as Lorenzini's bulb, which is sensitive to the electric fields created by razorfish. It can thus locate them in the sand, or it can await dolphins' leftovers, but there won't be any. Bottlenose dolphins also communicate via sound. The noises they emit have various functions. Clicks, which echolocate, are used along with barks and whistles together to form a common language. One hypothesis is that each dolphin emits its own personal signature whistle. Biological sonar is a near-perfect tool, but only if the dolphin knows how to use it. Young dolphins learn from their mother by imitation to pinpoint, observe, and catch their prey at the right moment. These techniques, which are passed on through generations, have made the bottlenose dolphin a super predator. It is believed that each dolphin strives to perfect and diversify its hunting methods. As night falls, groups of Gulf Stream dolphins rearrange themselves in anticipation of a feast. When light subsides, the sense of hearing takes over. One individual is able to locate its companions with the help of their whistling. Even in utter darkness, dolphins perceive a sort of tri-dimensional mental image. This mental image is enriched with local information, the presence of prey, as well as its nature, its direction, speed, depth, and activity. Their prey are mostly fish and squid, which come to the surface during the night, like this tousled jack. Dolphins who discover prey signal others about their find. Better still, they share it. Unless it's part of a community, it is hard for a dolphin to feed. An isolated one like this, which got lost in the high Scottish latitudes, cannot roam for long with an empty stomach. For the moment, its cries are in vain. It hasn't found its own kind. To assess its chance of survival, Let's go back to the source of the Gulf Stream. Sometimes tropical coasts like this one in Florida don't form clear boundaries with the ocean. These littoral zones are invaded by arms of water, linked by forested islets like mangroves. They form a profusion of plants whose roots drink the salt water. These calm and tepid waters teem with life. Plankton, crustacea, and fish all prosper in the mangrove. Such an abundance attracts predators, the most dreaded of which are once again the bottlenose dolphins. Organized as commandos, the bottlenose dolphin rains terror over shoals of mullet. Mangrove waters are muddy, opaque, and underwater visibility is almost nil. But this does not affect the dolphins and their sonar. The dolphin sentries encircle the shoal. Their aim is to frighten the mullet and force them to form a tighter group within the circle. Tail slaps produce terrible booming sounds underwater, perfect for terrifying the fish. Once cornered into a tight group, the fish are forced to the surface, and this is where their assailants take action. A slap of the tail can stun a mullet. This one is flung into the air before falling back into the water. With his highly trained ear, the dolphin has no problem in finding it. The bottlenose dolphin is highly adaptable. Certain communities are nomadic. This means that they sometimes need to hunt differently. Descending the Gulf Stream to South Carolina, mangroves give way to grass-covered mudbanks. Here again, the dolphins find an abundance of mullet, but they must figure out a different way of hunting them. They may disperse throughout the branches of water. Some try to hunt alone, but to no avail. The solitary hunter finally appeals to the group. It finds a mudbank made bare by the low tide and goes in search of the others. This time they don't push the fish towards the surface, but towards the mudbanks. When the tide comes in and covers the beaches, the hunt is over. The bottlenose dolphins can't corner fish in tall grasses. Black-headed seagulls gain from the dolphins' feast without risk, but they steal only negligible amounts compared to the dolphins' daily intake of 10 to 15 pounds. Hunting in groups guarantees great efficiency. Dolphins spend only 10% of their time hunting. This leaves plenty of time for other things. In the coastal zones of the Gulf of Mexico, grey herons witness the dolphins' other exploits. Surfing on waves from the bows of ships. This is what bottlenose dolphins dedicate their spare time to. The ultimate is to be propelled into the air using the strength of the waves. Since air offers less resistance than water, they end up spending less energy. Common gulls frequently accompany dolphins swimming next to the bows of the tankers. Such an association is most certainly dictated by the massive air currents yielded by these steel giants. Or perhaps out of self-interest. The starving and lonely dolphin has no chance of spending energy playing. If it doesn't find a group to adopt it, it is doomed. Let's go back to the Pacific to assess its chances of being adopted. The tropical waters of Polynesia are inhabited by the long-snout spinner dolphins, which never leave the protective confines of their pod. The group is a closely knitted one. However, one can sometimes observe a tendency towards division. At the heart of French Polynesia, the Rangiroa Lagoon shelters the bottlenose dolphins. Here, priority is given to pleasure. Couples immerse themselves in sexual games, even outside ovulation periods. The males try their best to seduce by performing superb ballet acts, an expression of social behavior that reinforces the group's cohesion. It seems that it is also important for the mental well-being of the individual. Young males generally grow up together. During mating, which is a rare occurrence, there is no jealousy between them. Instead, they share the female when on heat. This is the life pattern of the male adult living in a group. Bottlenose dolphins seem to be highly sensitive. Females often take the initiative during courtship. The lovers seek privacy, something impossible to achieve with so many aroused suitors about. When deprived of such games and social interaction, the behavioral trend of the Scottish dolphin is disrupted. When deprived of the group's protection, and when it can no longer hunt with its group, it puts its life in danger. To survive, it needs to have contact with its own kind, or dolphins which are genetically similar. Even if this is highly unlikely, it is not impossible to achieve. And that's just what happened to the Rangiroa spinner dolphin. One day, a young spinner dolphin got lost while its group was cruising in the waters of Rangiroa. The protective confines of the group depends on the limits it can create within the limitless ocean. Separated from its mother, it has no chance of surviving on its own. Touched by its despair, some bottlenose dolphins adopted it instantly, despite the difference in appearance and culture. The sounds emitted by the spinner dolphin are different from those of the bottlenose dolphin, but this does not prove to be an obstacle. The newly adopted spinner dolphin communicates with its family through body language. It now learns how to live in shallow waters, so different from the high seas it is used to. And now it even parades every day. During courtship, the male bottlenose caresses its partner's genital area with its whole body: fins, tail, snout. The spinner dolphin, familiar with a different sexual behavior, soon acquires a taste for these new games, apparently enjoying receiving caresses of its partner's snout and forehead. The spinner dolphin would normally solicit the caresses by swimming up next to its partner. Mating is brief, lasting only between 5 and 15 seconds, but is repeated several times. Of course, outside fertile periods, these pairings do not cause any pregnancy. Despite its different appearance, the spinner dolphin is accepted by the group. Dolphin societies lend assistance to all its members with no exception. This sense of solidarity applies in all circumstances, in face of danger or while at play. But up till now, the games at Rangiroa have not produced any newborn hybrid. The Rangiroa Lagoon is a coral belt fed by 2 channels. In these waters, stirred up by the currents, marine and underwater life is uncommonly active. Species normally living in the high seas are brought by the currents into the lagoons. Among them is the medusa. Marine snakes too. This species, the yellow-bellied sea snake, is extremely venomous. Their bites can cause almost instant death. The dolphins quickly detect its presence. The sentries undertake to drive it out. But is this snake really pursued, or is it all just a game? At last, the snake is driven off without incident. But all this activity has been detected in deeper waters by a formidable predator of dolphins, the white-tipped shark. This shark usually attacks female bottlenose dolphins with newborn. A defense strategy is launched. 2 sentries try to force the shark to return where it came from. But their maneuver doesn't work. One of them goes to the surface to seek reinforcements. Meanwhile, 50 meters below, a psychological war goes on. Another sentry has arrived to support the first. Above all, they must not stop marking the shark. They try to confuse the shark by swimming around it in all directions at full speed. Hopefully, this will intimidate it and buy time as they await reinforcements. And here they are. They will force their enemy to return to the depths. "70 meters down, the white-tipped shark finally retreats. At the surface, there is rejoicing for this victory, effected by clever tactics. Some scientists believe that dolphins dream. They certainly sleep in total for 8 hours a day, in spells lasting from 5 minutes to 2 hours. According to some experts, dolphins are conscious sleepers. During sleep, their two cerebral hemispheres momentarily sever communication. One side maintains muscular activity necessary for respiration and locomotion, while the other side is at rest. New aspects of the dolphin's brain have been discovered. They can even consciously reverse the roles. The half of the brain that was sleeping becomes active. During siestas, several dolphins always keep watch to ensure the safety of the group. The adopted spinner dolphin has perfectly adapted to its new life. It takes its turn on guard just like the others, and it even plays with them. The strength of the currents passing through Rangiroa is phenomenal. No man dares surf these waves. But nothing could be better for our spinner and bottlenose dolphins. They superbly ignore the danger. They play together and compete as athletes. These contests establish hierarchies and friendships. The adoption period lasted 4 years. Since then, it is believed that the spinner dolphin has reintegrated its original pod in the Tuamotu's archipelago. In the Hebrides, the isolated dolphin did not enjoy the same luck. This one came to seek refuge in shallow waters. For now, the only thing to come to its help is an embarrassed man. Man who classifies it as a common dolphin. But humans, however understanding they are, cannot snatch it out of its loneliness. It will have to return to the open sea and try to find a foster family. Like most cetaceans, this dolphin relies on a sixth magnetic sense about which we know little. Some areas of the brain contain magnetite crystals, consisting of an internal magnetic needle, as vital to their navigation as the compass is to the mariner. Swimming up the Gulf Stream, it carries on towards the south, towards the realm of the wandering albatross. On the other side of the mirror, the surface layers of the ocean carry over long distances whistles of another dolphin species, the dusky dolphin. The common dolphin quickly locates these gregarious little dolphins characterized by a very short snout. They are not at all hostile towards this new arrival. As with the Rangiroa spinner dolphin, the sounds emitted by the common dolphin differ from those of this new group. Body language is its only salvation. Cousins belonging to the same family always manage to communicate the essential. It doesn't understand the call of the female leader inviting its troops to dive to the depths. It can only imitate what the others are doing. 200 meters deeper, we find what the dolphins are looking for: shoals of anchovies. The promise of a feast entices the usual scroungers. In the immensity of the ocean, such abundance will attract opportunists from all horizons. Fur seals from the shallows, the recently adopted common dolphin. The anchovy shoal disperses in the face of predatory pressures on all sides. it must be regrouped. Dusky dolphins achieve this easily with their bubbles, as do the common dolphins. These underwater detonations frighten the prey, which instinctively group together. To be delivered to their guests. The isolated common dolphin has been saved because of the altruism of its cousins. From now on, its fate is tied to that of the dusky dolphins, under the watchful eye of the Dominican seagull.